we have already seen string as a it's a collection of characters, right? So let's try some programming around string. So basic string handling, string ops, let's say. Okay, this is pretty big. I'll take string one, Python file. So I'll call it string one. Now some of the things which I'm going to try with you now, you would have already done, or rather not done, but it is very much similar to what we did with a list. Okay, so if I define a string and let's say I'll call str equal to hello world, and if I say print of str, and if I put index of 0 here, then what is the output I'm going to get? Sorry, what I'll get? I'm going to get h, right? Because I'm getting a character at that particular index, right? So let's try to run it, and this is the value I get here. Is that right? Now similarly, I can access elements at different index. If I say -1, what is the output I'm going to get? Guys, what is the output of this one? D. So let's see if it is D. Yes, right? So we saw yesterday that whether it is a list or a string, it in a way behaves consistently. If I am doing -1, it will give me the element at the end of the what you say that particular string or a list. In this case, it is a list. Now we have done slicing also, right? CING. So if I say print of str, and if I say 0:2, so in this case, what am I going to get as an output? Just one minute. So it starts from 0 and then it is HE. Why? Because yesterday we had seen in the list as well that when you go to when you start to use slicing, it is starting from index up till the end of the index excluding the end. So it is 0, 1 and not 2. Is that right? So another way, what if I put here as if I do this as -1, what will I get? Oh, sorry, it is -1 here. So what is that I'm going to get? Right? So yesterday also we saw that it will give me until end and excluding the last character. Is that right? What if I want to get the whole of it? What will I do that? In that case, what will I? So we can say we can make a use of inbuilt function len, and I can give len of what? str, right? So if I do it like this, it will let me display the entire string, right? Run as, oh, here I've displayed len, so I have to, okay, this is fine. So maybe I will make it like this. Yeah, so I'll make it 0. I'll make it str open bracket 0 comma this length, right? And I'll copy and paste it here as well, right? So this way it will be going until length. Length is what? HELLO plus space WORLD. So it is 9, 10, 11. Means 11 means up till 0 to 10. 11 means excluding 11. So let's try to run this. It is 2. Oh, it has to be colon. Sorry, my mistake. So this should be a colon here, right? So str 0 to length. So I'll try to run this, and this is the value I get. Can you all please try this one quickly? all of you. So there are few more tricks. In fact, there are pretty much a lot of things you can cover, do in string. We will not try to get into all of that right away, but we will look at them as and when we move ahead. So let's say this is string one. Let's try a new file. We'll call it string two. Okay. Okay, string 2 we will create. So let me take a string. I will take copy this string in the interest of saving time. Okay, and okay, or maybe where is my string 2? I will say print of, let's say, now there is a shortcut in PyCharm. If you will press a shortcut, and let me share some shortcuts with you. Okay, so I'm going to share some shortcuts which you can use when we are working on an editor, which is a PyCharm editor. So let's see some of them. Okay, now one of the shortcuts you can use is Control N. If you type Control N, it brings up the enter class name. So let's say I want to search for a file called string ops. So I'll type stringops. This is a shortcut to access that particular file, right? So if you click here, the control will go to that. Is that right? Now another shortcut is, if I keep my mouse on this bracket here and if I say control P, it shows me what are all the possible arguments which can go inside this particular method, right? So some of the so it has values, comma, separator is there, right? So what these two things I'm going to use. So I'll say 1 2 3, hello, hello, welcome, WLCOME, welcome, and I'll say Python. Okay, so if I run this, the output which I'm going to get is hello, welcome, Python, right? But what I want to do is I want to have some separator in that. Okay, so I'll say comma SEP, and in the equal to single quote, if I put a comma or a semicolon, whatever separator I want to use, okay, I can say right click, run as. Can you see it? That when you have a continuation of strings to be printed, you can have them separated by a separator. It could be any separator, maybe a hyphen or a comma or a semicolon or whatever you want. So this is a concept of how we can pass a separator while printing the strings. Can you please quickly try it? So a few other things which you can try with string is that, so far if I were to create str, what I did in my previous example, let me quickly copy that in the interest of saving time. So I will go and copy this one and I'll come here. Okay, so let's say I have this string here. Now whenever I create a string, I put it in single quotes. Another way to do it is str1 equal to, I can also put it in double quotes, hello, how are you? Okay, so this is also treated as a string in Python, meaning that you can create a string with the help of a single quote as well as a double quote, right? So either of them, it's same thing. Now what if I create str3, sorry, str2, let's call it str2 equal to double quotes. Let's say I want to say hello, how are you? But somehow my string is getting very big and it goes on the right side of the editor and it's not really readable. If I want to take it to the next line, I am, I'll put here just 1 minute. I am fine. What about you? Okay, now you will see, if I try to what about you? Okay, so let me try to run this program, print str2, right? So if I run this, what is the output I'm going to get, right? Can you see that by separating two strings with a backslash, you can have strings written in multiple lines, right? Another way you can work on strings is, or having it in multiple line, str3 equal to, I can put it as hello, hello, and then I can say uh, welcome again. Okay, so this is also another way I can create a string spanning more than one line. So if I try to display string 3 here, run as, right? So this is, but here the difference is it maintained your intended the indentation which you had done earlier, or when you were creating the string rather, as compared to the previous case where it is one single line, right? Okay, so coming back, let's try a few more things which we can do with string. So what now, string is an immutable structure. What is meant by immutable? Immutable means you cannot change the content of the string once it has been created. Now what that means is, yesterday when we looked at a list, we were able to insert an element or delete an element, all those operations we were able to do. So that is called mutable. Mutable means something which can be modified. But let's take in the case of string. So let me create a third file here. Okay, let me copy this and I'll make it 3 here. Okay, let me just go ahead and remove most of this code which I don't need. Okay, now can I go and say str of 0, let's say equal to a? Can I do this? So let's say I try to do it. If I run this, it says type error, string object does not support item assignment, right? I mean, you cannot perform this operation. Is that right? So we can take another variable. Yes. So so yeah, I will come to that. So let's say if I say str equal to how are you. Now what is happening? Initially str was pointing to a memory location. Now that same str is pointing to a different memory location. So we haven't modified the actual object, right? It is still immutable. It is just that you have changed the reference of where the string was pointing to. So if I were to explain this with a diagram, so let's say, just 1 minute. Okay, so if you will look at this example which I was trying to explain to you, so let me go back to that example, which is this one, right? So let me copy it and let me put it here. So if you think of this circle as a memory of Python, okay, first time str is pointing to some memory location which contains hello world, right? Now in the second case, when you say str is equals to how are you, basically this reference goes away, this is gone, and This is pointing to a different memory location which is holding how are you, right? So the original string is still immutable, means it has not been modified. You are still referencing, sorry, you are referencing to a new memory location, right? So immutability feature of still is of the string is still being maintained if you do the reassignment. So this is like a reassignment actually. Yes, can you please quickly try this? Now, string is one of the data type which is used very extensively in Python. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some links, documentation link with you, which I had shared for, like I had shared earlier for the list as well. So please bookmark this links. Generally, I make use of a tool called Bookie. So let me show that to you. It's a very nice tool. It makes my life very easy to maintain a lot of data. So I will show that to you. If you will go to Bookie, you can register to this. It has options to create individual what you say category to create your bookmarks. So for example, here in Python I have a couple of hyperlinks which I generally refer to. So what I will do is these two are pretty useful links for me. One is this one. What is that? Just 1 minute. Did I put the wrong one? Okay, so you can do it at your own time. Okay, now if you will come here, I'm sharing these two links with you. Please open this link and we'll try out some of the code from here as well. So I'm sending these links to you. Now why I'm sharing all these links, because it is just that we cannot do all the possibilities of strings that are available, but we'll play around with some of it, and rest I will let you people also try around this particular uh, uh, data type which we are working on. Okay, so please check your mail. I have sent the two links, so let's play around with a little bit of one of the documentation link. Okay, so quickly please open your mail and open the link. So I had been using a lot of tools to do bookmarking, but this is the best one I found. So if you will go add bookmark, you can give the bookmark and tab up. It will auto complete the name. So you can also give your own name. So let's say Python, or I'll say, since it is Python category only, I'll say string methods, right? And I can say done. So it will nicely show the string methods name here, right? And I can edit it, I can move up in the list, and I can add a note, and I can click here, right? It will bring up. So you, if you want, you can use that, right? So today we are going to try a few of this. We'll not look at all of this, but if you have a string, so let's create a new file. We'll call it string methods. So I will go here and I'll say stringmethods. Okay, so let's create a hello world string again. I will go here, string methods. Let's play around some of these methods. So I think so some of them are very obvious, that if you say lower, upper, and all these things. So I'll say print of s dot lower. Let me rename it to s so that it becomes easy for us to try out all of this. So I'll run s. So all the, so let's say it was h. First of all, h was upper case, and w was also uppercase for me. Okay, so if I start running, if I run this program, it is all lowercase, right? Similarly, I will go and take upper, s dot upper. So I will or if you don't want to type the it from documentation, you can simply say, if it say s dot, you will get various options upper, right? So if you run this, it will display it in all uppercase, right? So there are few others. You can check whether it is alphanumeric or it is a digit. Digit means it is all numbers. So if I say s dot digit, it will give me false because it is not a digit in this case, right? So let me delete this. Is digit. Let's run this program. Run as. It's false. If it was what 1 2 3 4, then it will give me, right, it will give me true. So like this you can play around with other methods if you want to try. I've shared the what you say documentation link. Similarly, you can check whether it starts with a particular set of character or it ends with it, or you want to find a particular character, or you want to replace a new an old set of characters with another set of characters. Okay, so let's say I use find here. Okay, so if I will make it again hello world, HELLOWORLD. If I do it like this, and if I say print and s dot a find of, let's say I want to find D, right? So if I right click and run as, it is giving me position, right? So what does find, where is my find? Searches the given, searches for the given other string, not a regular expression, within s, and returns the index, first index. If it is not there, it will return -1 for me, right? So can you please try some of these methods in the string? Okay, so there are still a lot of more things we can do with string. We have done string concatenation, string replication. Okay, let's try to iterate through the list. Sorry, not list. Let us iterate through the string. So I'm going to create a string iteration. Okay, now here again let's maybe we can use the same string, or we can use different, doesn't make a difference. So I'll go to string iteration, I'll paste it here. Now I'll say for where in str, then I'll say print char char equal to var, or let's make it a c, for c in str, where str is my string, right? So if I run this program, let's see what is the output I'm getting. I'm getting character by character, right? One character, two character. So it pulls individual characters and displays it. Now let's also make some it more interesting. So I'll say c count equal to 0, right? And I'll say char c comma is at position equal to, I'll say count, right? And then after that I'll say um, I'll also say count equal to count plus of 1, right? So initially it will say that h is at 0, e is at 1, then like this it will keep going in a loop, and it will display as the values with the position also, right? Yes, no? So can you please quickly try this program? So this is just a way of iterating the elements in a string and fetching the values and displaying them. Now next thing which I'll talk about is basically escaping a character in string. So let's say I have string. I'll create a file escape. Okay, now let's say I'm I'm going to create a string print welcome to Python with Django, right? Now if I run this program, it works fine. I mean, this is what we were expecting it to do, right? What if I put a double quote here? Let's see, it still works fine, right? So now what I'm trying to say here is that you create a string by putting it into single quotes. In between single quotes, if you have a double quote, that's perfectly fine. So I want to make it like this, it works fine, right? Run as, I know, and you know what is the output going to be. What if I want to make it single quote here as well as single quote? So here the interpreter will get confused as to where the string is ending. So I can escape it with a backslash here and a backslash here, right? Now if I try to run this program, this is how I get. Similarly, if I am printing same string with double quotes, right? Now if I have this double quote here and I have a double quote here, and if it were having a single quote, no problem, right? As we just saw. Yes, no. So with this, I'm perfectly fine. But if it were double quote here, for example, and double quote here, and I want to escape it, I'll have to do it like this, right? Yes, and this is how I'll get my output, right? So can you please try it? Yes, yes. So it's like a documentation or comment. Now, while we are in the process of discussing string, and now that we have covered primitive data type and list also, we are going to cover some more. But I think so it is about time that we talk about why is Python is a dynamically typed language. So, for example, let me go back to my PyCharm here, and I'll create a file here, and I'll call it. Uh, dynamically typed, right? Now what it means is that I can say where equal to 10, right? And if I say type of ty, I can say print, and then I can say typ of type of var. So what am I going to get? Let's see. Run as, I'm getting an int here, right? Now after that I'm going to change this where to become h hello, right? And now I'm going to say, let me copy this here and let me type it again, right? It is string now. What if I make it where equal to here I make it a, here I make it b, I make it as a list here. So then if I print this, what will it show? List, right? So let's try to run it again now. So it means it is a it's a dynamically typed language, meaning that at the runtime that type can be modified, right? As compared to other programming language, like if you have worked on Java or C, you have to define the data type initially before using it. But that is not the case of Python. Even you assign it initially integer value, and then a string value, and then a different data value you can assign to it. Is that right? Please try it out. So let's say if you want to make use of we have looked at whether a particular when we were looking at list yesterday, we saw that if a particular element or an entry is in list or not, so we used an in, right? Similarly, if you want to find out if there is a particular character or set of characters in a string, we can also do that. So let me create a new file. I'll say string using string, let's call it string in. Okay, now here I will copy this string and I will go here, right? Now if I say print, or rather I will say, okay, let's make it print only, print double quotes, single quote, uh, H in what? str, in str. So what it is doing, it is checking whether this particular character str is present in this string or not, right? So if I run it, I get a true, right? If I make it hh, sorry, hh, it will be false, right? But if I say he, then what I'll get? True, right? So this way you can find occurrence of a character or a set of characters within a string. Can you please try it quickly? Okay, so with this we have tried out, like there is not in also. Okay, so you can, if you say not in, it will check if it is not there and then it will return true. So we have tried pretty good number of programs with a string type which is available in Python. Okay, so let's go for the uh, next data structure which we shall look at is a map. Okay, so let's get started with map. I'll wind up this string session, so just give me a minute and we'll get started with our what do you say, different data collection.